Here's something you don't see every day. This is an underwater microphone. It's called a hydrophone. And you can see it's got some writing on it, the batch number and that. And I bought this at a scientific surplus place. I brought several of them. And originally what they're for is, I guess a submarine sinking plane would drop them into the ocean, a string of them. See, they were made to hook one to the next, each side. So in other words, they would drop maybe 100 of them, and it would go to a buoy. And the buoy would take the sound that it picked up and transmit it up into the air, up into the airplane. And they could use it to close in on the submarine. That's what the original article was that came along with this thing. And it came in one of those, it looks like paper bag, but it's actually foil inside the paper bag. And it's sealed. And it's filled with maybe nitrogen or some gas to keep the thing from mildewing or whatever. So I'm in this scientific place. I think it was like Edmond Scientific, South Jersey. They're no longer there. And I saw these things, and I knew what they were. And of course, when you go in the store, there's people that they have a bin. They have one of these taped to the end of the bin, and then they have the bags. But of course, there's people that go in there, and they have to open every bag. So I bought several of these because I knew what they were, and I had some experiments I wanted to do. Because over the years, it was one of those things. If I saw hydrophone on television, I think they used one on Flipper, or they might have lowered one. I think they just lowered a regular microphone on the Amazing Mr. Limpid. What was it with the Don Knotts movie where he became a fish? I think they just lowered a regular microphone. It might have been a real hydrophone, but in other words, there's some really weird things like Flipper and these different programs where they lower a hydrophone into the water. And this is a real hydrophone. And you can see I've added shielded wire connector. And you say, well, what did I use it for? Okay, first thing you do is you drop it in your fish tank. And the first thing that happens to you is you realize it picks up, when you hook it to an amplifier, it picks up the filtration system of the fish tank really well. So now you have to shut all the filtration system off. And when the fish pecks at the food, you can actually hear that. And that's what I wanted it for, but not on regular fish tanks. Also, one of my fish tanks, I had an African catfish. And you could hear that thing croaking at night. What a stupid fish. It's one of those fish you buy that after you buy it, you're sorry you bought it. In the store, it's in a tank. It can't get away from you. You can actually look at it. You go, that's a really good fish. You come home, you put it in your fish tank, and the first thing it does is it burrows in the gravel under like I had a log in there or whatever, and you never see the thing except if you turn the lights out and drop some food in there, it'll come out. And some nights it runs around in there and it does some croaking noises, and I actually captured that. Big freaking deal. Okay, so now it gets up to the, let's go take this to Cranberry Lake in New Jersey. Okay, so I have an amplifier box all set up. I go up to Cranberry Lake. I put it in the water, and it's quiet. And I cast my worm out there, and any kind of fish that pecks at the worm, you can hear it, okay? So you know something's starting to peck at the worm, before it even shows on the bobber. Well, of course, we used to call the kid the retard. And there was this kid, he had like a little racing shell. I don't know if it's actually called a shell, but a little speedboat. And he'd come down and he'd gas it up and he'd just go around in a circle like a retard. And if you look at Cranberry Lake, it's pretty big. But what he would do is he'd ruin the fishing for all the free access to the lake. Okay? And for 1 year, I heard reports back he was still doing it. In other words, if he looked out the window of his house and saw people fishing, it was a railroad track. It was a public access. He would come down, start that motorboat up, and run it around in a circle, make waves, ruin the fishing. You couldn't fish. So that's why I'm telling you the story. That's why I'm telling you about the hydrophone. I build this thing. I have the amplifier. I drive all the way up there. I put it in the water. I cast out my worm and my bobber, and then I look and I see this kid coming down. And I didn't realize at first what he was going to do. But then he spent the rest of the hour the next hour, just going in a circle, ruining the lake. If you look up Cranberry Lake, you'll see it's not real small, but the area that he was going in a circle was right in front of where his house was. So whether his parents had a problem with people fishing there or whatever it was, that's how this thing ended up. Well, anyway, I bring the thing back home, and I mentioned this at work, and so many people suddenly wanted a hydrophone. And I said, we got to make an amplifier. Oh, I'll make an amplifier. You know this, I'll always tell you these stories. This is how it goes. Well, so I sold them to people, and they never saw water. Okay? That's what I wanted to tell you. Well, you know, I go in my box of keepsakes, of rare stuff. And right now, I'm almost done with going through all my bins and pulling out the stuff I'm never going to use. And I just looking at the hydrophone. I did use it twice, but it's sort of a keepsake. But it's got all these stories attached to, you know, oh, if you sell a hydrophone to one guy at work, you sold him a hydrophone. I want one. They cry like a little frickin' girl or a little frickin' baby. You know, it's sort of like yesterday I posted about using 1/4-inch PVC. Well, immediately you get the broken English foreigners, and they hit you up with questions that have nothing to do with the video. You know, the way I interpreted it, he wanted to know, would one of my CNC machines cut aluminum? I don't sell plans anymore. I even said in the video, I want to have nothing to do with any of that stuff anymore because of people like him. Okay? You know, he's never going to build it. He just wants, oh, I just want to know. What for? What for? Well, I just want to know. The Joe Padner, the guy that had to know everything, that knew nothing. And that aggravates me. That's what ruins the fact that I'm on YouTube. And then I'm looking at YouTube, and I've been watching certain people. Their videos are getting really bad. I don't want to mention their names. The only guy that's got quality going would be Taco Stacks. And he goes out in a van every morning, and he garbage picks. And he tells you all about garbage picking, how much you get for the steel. Well, he made a comment the other day. He goes, you know, someone told me I should use a GoPro. You know, it's like, what do they think I'm using? I was laughing so hard. It's like, hey, Taco, I got an idea for you. Use a GoPro. I was like, oh, man. And every once in a while, if you watch some of these videos long enough, these guys have thicker skin than me, okay? But eventually, they make a comment. And some of them are political guys. They have to make a political comment, okay? But I always get a kick out when I really get to know the guy pretty good. I say, boy, this guy's pretty easygoing. He answers questions from the comment section. And then all of a sudden, it'll just like, someone told me I should use a GoPro. I just started laughing. I think that's hilarious. What did they think he was using? You know? And they had a reason why he should use the GoPro. But go look at Taco Stacks. And when he's loading up the van, he moves the camera to inside the van for a while. If he's moving a lot of scrap from the curb, he actually moves the camera, and he wears it on his chest, the GoPro, and then he moves it. And yeah, Taco, you should get yourself a GoPro. But I no matter who I watch, they have their things that bugs them. Okay, you know, people tell them you should try this, and they've done videos where they said they did it. There's no money. All right, he goes to the scrapper and he shows you how much he took, and then he tells you how much he got. They weigh it. He shows you the whole system, okay? And then you get people, they don't watch the video all the way through. They only watch maybe one of his videos, and they have so much to tell him. And that's why I've cut back on YouTube a lot. A lot of the stuff are now just fake videos from foreigners, okay? And then there's people that show how the video's been faked, okay? So you got a bunch of videos that they keep recommending to me. And then lately, they've been recommending to me that 90s show review. Okay, it's just, each person runs the same preview, and then talks about it. And then there was the movie Otto, A Man Called Otto. That thing loads up my page every morning. That 90s show, a lot of fake electronic stuff from foreigners. You know, I don't like foreigners because they're rude, and they ask you stuff. It has nothing to do with the video. I used to get them. They used to want to know how much I was making with my website, and then they troll you if you don't answer them, okay? And then in this case, they'll give you a thumbs down. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I'm finishing up on YouTube. You don't see that? I'm slowly throwing my electronic stuff out. I'm going to get another hobby. And I might look on YouTube to learn about the hobby, but I'm not going to do any more videos. Okay? I'm getting to the point now where I didn't realize people were this screwed up. And when they can hide in the shadows, they get even worse. Okay? But I just want to show you a hydrophone. You sold him a hydrophone. I want one. Had that so many times. You had to watch what you said at work. You know, like one guy, I took pictures of a Christmas party at work. And he had a camera, but he didn't bring it in. And I gave him the envelope. He went through it. He gives me a thing back, a piece of paper. I said, "What's this?" He says, "I want duplicates made of these pictures." And he wrote on the pictures the numbers and then how many of each he wanted. I'm like, I ain't gonna do that. Why not? I ain't gonna do that. I got better things to do. When I get out of work, I don't want to go into a photo place, and you got to give them the negatives, and then you got to go back and pick it up. I did several things for people over the years. I would go to an electronic place and bring a part back for their television. It would never get put in the television set. After I bought them the part back, then they want me to put the part in the television set for them. Meanwhile, they've gone to electronic school, and they're working the same kind of jobs as I am. And when review time comes up, they're telling the boss how much smarter they are than me, and the boss just chuckles. He comes out after the review. He comes out and sits down and talks to me. He goes, "You won't believe what that guy just said." And I go, "Yeah, I'll believe it." And he goes, "You're fixing his stuff for him." Yep. But yet in the review, he's smarter than me, and he wants more money. And the boss goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, that's about right." But yeah, a hydrophone, huh? And it's kind of soft, like it's got some type of maybe gel in it. And this side's rock hard, like it's what would you call that? Enamel, or what would we call that? Some type of glue, epoxy side. You know, but yeah, it's a microphone for underwater. But it's one of those things. As a kid, I would see, and I was like, "Gee, I wonder what the difference is between a regular microphone put in a plastic bag versus a hydrophone." And yes, there is a difference. This has more sensitivity than if you put a microphone. Basically, you would say it does maybe from 20 cycles up. A really good one. This thing goes a lot lower in frequency. You know, it can. People use these for doing whales too. The whale watchers drop them in. You know, like I guess that's what the guys at work. You sold him one. I want one. I think that's it. All right, that's it.